Hi everybody, I hope you're having a great day. It's been a little bit busy here, but I want to show you something new that I'm making today. What's kind of new, I've kind of made it before, but it's going to be a little bit different this time. It's mac and cheese, low carb. Okay, so there's no macaroni involved, but we did get another batch of patty pan squash. So what I did, I chopped it up and we roasted it at 450 for about 20 minutes. And then I put that into my casserole dish, and that is sitting off here to the side. And now what we're going to do is we're going to make the sauce. So we were watching the Food Network because that's what we do for entertainment, and I saw somebody make a jalapeno mac and cheese, and I thought, oh, I can do that. So I've made the sauce before, but I've never made it with jalapenos. I've never used squash. I usually do cauliflower. Kind of the same thing. I roast the cauliflower in the oven and make the sauce and then pour it over and then bake it. So that's what we're going to do today. So come along. We're going to get started. So what I have in my pan is a tablespoon of butter and some jalapenos that I have chopped up. They're not spicy. My family doesn't like very spicy food, but they have really good flavor. So what I did was deseeded them and then cut the ribs out. So we're going to get those started in our butter, and then the other ingredients we're going to use today, we have cream cheese, full fat cream cheese, some heavy whipping cream, and some freshly shredded cheddar cheese that my baby worked so hard on getting done for us. So we're going to get all that goodness going. All right, and then we're going to add just a little bit of salt, pepper, and garlic powder to this. So we just want to get these sauteed up a little bit. And if you want to add, anything for a little extra heat, if you like spicy stuff, well, don't take out all the seeds or don't take out the ribs, or you could add maybe a little cayenne pepper to the finished sauce. Like I said, I'm not going to do that today because if it was just for me, I would, but it's not. And hey, there's Jack again. He doesn't like to be on camera, but he definitely likes to be heard. So I hope you all can bear with me as he starts barking at the neighbor's cats or who knows what. Some sound he thought he heard. Alright guys, so we're just going to let those go for a couple of minutes and then we'll start adding the rest of our ingredients. Alright guys, so I've just finished up frying my peppers and they were being little jalapeno poppers. They're trying to pop out of the skillet, so watch out for that. Just saying. I had a couple land on the stove, but we saved them, so they're okay. So I just fried these up for a couple of minutes. I wanted to get them nice and tender. I have the heat turned down very low. The next thing we're going to do is add our heavy whipping cream. So I'm going to go in with about 16 ounces. So, traditionally, whenever you make macaroni and cheese, you make a roux. So you have your butter and flour, and then you add your milk. So we are just making a carbless roux. The cream cheese is going to be our thickener, and the heavy cream will also help thicken this up. So no flour is involved. So like I said, just in place of milk, you're using heavy whipping cream. Now I've also used half and half when I've had that on hand, and that works fine, although it does thicken up better, I think, with the heavy whipping cream. So I actually stopped at the store special for that, so we'd have it. I'm really excited for this. Like I said, I've made this basic sauce before. I didn't keep any measurements, so we're just kind of eyeballing things. But I've not, like I said, added jalapenos to it, and I've not done it with squash. So I'm hoping the squash doesn't release too much liquid and make it too watery. I think that's probably my biggest fear. I'm hoping by cooking it beforehand that will keep that from happening. Okay, so there we have our 2 cups of heavy cream. And we are just going to bring it up a little bit because I actually want it to simmer. And then we're going to add our cream cheese. So what I have is a block of full fat cream cheese that I cut into cubes, and we're just going to add that a couple at a time. Now I'm just using my wooden spoon right now. I love this one. It has a flat edge on it, so it makes it easy. But I also have my whisk hanging out in case I need it. So we're going to go ahead and go in. And when my grandma used to make macaroni and cheese, she always used Velveeta because, that was how Grandma made her mac and cheese. And this was kind of how she would do it. She would cut the Velveeta up into little cubes. and then stir it into her sauce until it melted. So this is reminiscent for me of my graham. And as I've told you before, you shouldn't have to give up your favorite foods when you go low carb. You can still have your comfort foods. You just have to think about making them a different way. So again, it's not going to taste like macaroni, but it should give you that feeling of mac and cheese. So just give it a try. Besides, it's vegetables covered in a cheese sauce. How can that not be just delicious? Okay, so we've added all of our cream cheese. I'm going to turn this up just a little bit. I kind of want the milk to simmer, but of course we don't want it to go too much because we don't want to scald it, burn it. That'd be bad. I've also let the cream cheese sit out for about half hour, 45 minutes while I was prepping the zucchini. So it is at room temperature. That always helps with the melting factor. And then, so we're just going to kind of keep an eye on this. It is a little bit of a process. It takes a little bit for it to melt down. But be patient, it's delicious. Once the cream cheese melts down, we're going to go in with our cheddar. So we'll show you that here momentarily. Alright guys, so as you can see, our cream cheese is melting down. I've just been kind of using the back of my wooden spoon to smoosh it out a little bit. And then it has a little bit of green color to it. That's pretty funny from the jalapenos. And I'm going to go ahead in with my whisk, I think, and try to get it. We want it to be as creamy and silky as we possibly can. So we're just very lightly going to do a whisk. Probably be better if I had a silicone one, but I don't. But I don't press very hard, so and not to scratch my pan. And you can see it's bubbling just a little bit. And that's what we want. You can tell while I'm stirring it, it's really thickening up nicely. So that is what we want. It's a tight sauce, and we'll get even more so once we start adding the cheese. Just kind of adjusting the heat on the stove. Like I said, I don't want the milk to burn. I just want to make sure that all gets incorporated and nice and melty. Melty and delicious. Alright. That's looking pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and go in with our cheddar. And then we'll start to season, and then we'll taste it and see how that goes. So we're just going to put that to the side. And so like I said, here we have 2 cups of shredded cheddar cheese that George did for us. So we're just going to kind of go in little by little. You don't want to add all of it because it will clump up. So I like to just add a handful at a time and give it a little stir. You just kind of keep going in. I'm just going to kind of smush it around there. I don't know about you, but I just want to put a spoon in here and start drinking this. We won't, but we want to. Now you can use whatever kind of cheese you want. If I had like, oh, that would have been so good if I would have had like some Monterey Jack cheese, or no, what is it? It's the pepper cheese. Oh, that would have been tasty. Maybe a little too spicy for the family. I would have liked it. I think that would have been delicious. So hey, there you go. You want to kick it up a notch? Yeah. Use the cheese that has the peppers in it. The pepper jack. Yeah, that would be it. All right. A little bit more of our cheese is starting to turn that beautiful golden color. Now you could also use American if you're a fan of American, but just be careful because it does have extra carbs. I'm not sure, like the Velveeta that I was talking about. I still use it occasionally, but I try not to use very much because I don't know if they add sugars to it, or I don't really know. I just know that it's like 3 or 4 grams of carbs for an ounce or 2. So I mean, it's not a lot, but I try to use it sparingly. And I just really think that the cheddar goes well in mac and cheese. getting there, gang. We're gonna add just a little bit more. I actually think I'm gonna let a little bit out. I'm gonna taste it and make sure it's cheesy enough. But I think I might put this on top. So we're gonna give this one a last stir, and then we're gonna start seasoning a little bit, and then we'll give it a little taste. And then we're gonna cover our beautiful patty pan squash. Okay. All right, so we're just gonna go in with a little bit of salt. And again, our fresh cracked black pepper. Now, when I make sausage gravy, this is kind of the same thing I do. I use the heavy whipping cream and cream cheese, salt, and a bunch of pepper, and it comes out absolutely delicious. Oh, and some garlic. I always like to add garlic to it. So that's kind of how we do gravies in this house. Cream cheese is a magical tool. Now, not something you want to eat every day, but you know, like this will probably last us, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 meals is what the plan is, because we'll have another fresh vegetable on the side with it to kind of help with all the richness. Because just like regular mac and cheese, it's going to be really rich and hopefully super delicious. All right, so remember, taste your food. Oh my God, that's really good. Okay, so I'm just gonna add a teeny bit more salt, not very much, just another little sprinkle, and a touch more pepper, and then I think, gang, we have a winner. Oh my gosh, I really want you to try this. I really, really do, because it is delicious, and I think it's gonna be hard not to have seconds of this. All right, I'm turning the heat off. It is super nice and creamy. Oh my gosh, like, yeah, you would never know that it wasn't made using a regular roux. Okay, so we are going to put all your utensils aside. So we have our spaghetti squash in my casserole dish. I did spray this first with some cooking spray, the coconut one, and we're just going to go in, and of course I did season the squash while I was cooking it as well. So we're just going to go in and look at all that creamy, yummy goodness. And give it a little stir. Because I wasn't sure how much I needed. If I have extra of this, I will probably freeze it or just maybe pop it in the fridge and use it for another dinner. And actually, this looks like plenty, so I think that's what I'm gonna do. Oh no, it's escaping. Oh yeah, it's good. Oh, yeah, it's gonna end up being a little bit watery, so just a side note, I can already tell from stirring the squash around, but I still think it's gonna be delicious. You don't have to call it a mac and cheese since there's no macaroni in it, but I'm gonna call it that. My squash mac and cheese, yeah. All right, guys, so that's it. So I'm going to put this in the oven at 350 for about a half an hour. I think what I might do is either sprinkle some pork rinds on top, some crushed pork rinds, or some of the crushed almonds that I have, or crushed walnuts I have in the fridge, just to kind of give it that little bit of crunchy topping that you're used to with mac and cheese. All right, so I'll let you see what it looks like when it comes out of the oven. So we're pulling out the bubbly goodness. Alright, so what I did was I baked it for 20 minutes. I took it out. I sprinkled some of the crushed pork rinds on top that I had in the fridge, and I put it back in for about another 5 minutes or so. So we're going to let that cool, and then we'll give it a taste and let you know how it is. Alright guys, so I have plated up our macaroni and cheese. It's just slightly watery. It's not bad. I thought it might be worse. So I'm just going to give it a little taste. That's good. That's really good. Okay, you guys got to try this. Like I said, I also really like to do it with cauliflower. That makes it really nice, but that sauce is just killer. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you will try making it. Please hit that subscribe button and the thumbs up if you like this video and you want to see more. We really appreciate you watching and being along for the ride. Be good to each other. Peace.